Hi, take a look behind me. We're back out at a Chevrolet dealership. Today's episode is going to be featuring a Chevrolet vehicle. So let's go ahead and take a look. Welcome to another episode of Gearhead Man. I'm Mark Paulus, your host. Now this car behind me is a Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 2020. Kind of a cool car itself. It's a convertible, but the car we're talking about today will be also a 2020 model, the Chevrolet Camaro COPO John Force Edition. Can't wait to show you that car. It's awesome car inside and out. Talk about the performance, and we'll talk about John Force a little bit too in this episode. So let's go ahead and get started. John Force's first professional race was 1974 in Australia. He won his first AHRA championship in 1984 and his first NHRA championship in 1990. He won 12 championships in a row from 1993 to 2004. Man, this guy is awesome. I've seen him race. I've met him in person. He's an awesome guy all the way around. His personal life, his racing life. John Force is the winningest driver in NHR history, with 17 combined championships.
Everyone thinks these teams just roll off the trucks ready to race, but to understand today, you need to understand their history. Things were not so slick and organized. They were barely holding it together.
What happened? How did we get here? Nobody knows. Nobody gets it, and the truth is, I know you don't give a shit anyway. You know, everybody just thinks that we just showed up here on the scene of drag racing, NHRA drag racing, and all of a sudden, we're 16-time champ and we're millionaires. But what's really amazing, you look at some of these photos in my museum. My first Chevrolet crew cab, Silverado from Don Steed Chevrolet, pulling a chaparral trailer I bought from Joe Paisano. You look at this photo, I'm parked here because I kept my race car truck and trailer outside of the apartment that I lived in. I didn't want an apartment, I wanted to sleep in the truck. But you park it on the street at night and a street sweeper comes by and the cop's coming write you a ticket, move it. Look at this, for example. Here's my first trailer that I bought from Dorsey. But look at the crew. There's three of us working there, Roy Mayhews, Ted Schumacher, my brother Louie and me. There was 3 or 4 of us. There was no 12-man team. Couldn't afford to feed them. But look at that trailer. Look at that big old crane coming out of that trailer, made out of heavy steel to put a motor in, because you had to have all that stuff. Now they carry, these young kids we got that are all muscle, carry these engines to put them into these cars. It's unbelievable how we evolved. And that trailer, we built sleeping quarters. We didn't go to hotels. We went to truck stops and bathed in there. And don't think sometimes that ain't scary. Look at that trailer packed with our motorcycle. It had our fishing poles, our barbells. But what's amazing is when you look at the trailer, it had the original hardwood floor that comes in a Dorsey. But it had a shower up front, it had a sleeping quarters. We lived in the thing, and it had an air conditioning unit. To look back and look at these big 18-wheelers lined up, it's like I own a trucking company, and I never could have imagined that. I look at 20 acres in Indy of land. I look at 5 acres here in California, and I look at all of this like, how did it happen? It was 40 years of blood, sweat, and tears, and that ain't no bull. And let's not forget about our history. Starting back in 1974, down under in Australia. You can see it all right here in our museums. And there's my Pontiac. That car was like the winningest car in drag racing history. Flamed, you know why we flamed it? I was always on fire every week. There's a Syntec car that Eric Medlin drove. Look at the car in the back. Superman. I beat the dragster in the Superman car. We beat, for $250,000, the no bull shootout, we beat the dragster. Hey, the Christmas Grinch, boy, do you love that? The car right there was a tribute to Norwalk, 50 years of Norwalk racing to the Bader family. That's my Air Force One car right there. Oh, there's one of my favorites. That's Ashley's car. I got a Harley Davidson given to me for my 10th championship from Harley Davidson. The Traxxas car out back that Courtney drove was the 100 to win for women in that Traxxas car. Brand Source Dragster. Top fueler right there. Here's a tribute car that I did for Jeff Gordon when he retired. Hope I can do one for Earnhardt. Jeff Gordon, number 24, Chevrolet. I'm so proud of that car to have it in my museum. The fans love it. That was the peak car that I drive today. And then you fly back out of there and look down through here. It's unbelievable. We started in California. I'm a California boy. But we lived there in the middle of the country because that's the heart of racing. It's Indianapolis, where the Indy 500 is where our big Indy race is. It's the middle of the country. Now we can go either direction to Seattle, to Denver, to Pomona, Brainerd, or we can go to the East Coast, Epping, New Hampshire, down to Gainesville, Houston, Texas, across the country, Reading, Pennsylvania. It's unbelievable. And get back home without at least a night's drive. Otherwise you never come home. How we got here, don't have a clue, but where are we gonna be 30 years from now? That's what I wanna see. I'm looking forward to this journey.
In 2015, not only did John Force change manufacturers and models from the Ford Mustang he was racing, he changed to the Chevy Camaro and changed sponsors from GTX as primary to Peak as the primary sponsor. In 1969, Chevrolet introduced the COPO Camaro, pretty much was a turnkey drag racer. Here's a picture of the first COPO Camaro. And that's the most popular color as well. Here's some quick information over the years. And here's John Force standing with the 2020 Chevrolet COPO Camaro. Now, they're going to make 69 of those, plus one to auction off for charity. On January 17, 2020 of this year, this car sold for $600,000 in auction for charity. And that charity was DonorChoose.org. All right, let's take a closer look at this 2020 Chevrolet COPO Camaro John Force edition. I love the black and silver paint scheme, and I love those red John Force graphics all over the car. Now, it's powered by a 5.7 liter LSX V8 motor, equipped with a 2.65 liter Magnuson supercharger and NHRA certified 580 horsepower with a red line that sits around 8,000 RPM. Wow, what a motor. Now take a look at this interior. I love the black with the red highlights that pop and that red John Force signature on the dash. Now, if you look, the graphic display has been removed in the center of the dash and replaced with the typical switches and buttons you would find on a typical drag car. Now, this car is equipped with a ATI TM400 automatic transmission. It's 3-speed, and it has a ratchet shifter there that you can see at the bottom of the dash in the console. And what's the best way to top off this design on the interior is racing seats that have John Force's name or his signature embroidered at the top of the seat. That brings us to an end of an episode. I hope you liked it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Man, if you love that car and you can afford it, there's only 69 of them made, like I mentioned. So definitely I would make a move and pick up one of those cars. It's definitely going to increase in value. Thank you for subscribing. If not, hit that red subscribe button on the way out, and we'll see you next Friday.